Imagine waking up to a notification that makes you rub your eyes in disbelief. You check it again, and there it is, bold and undeniable. The Iraqi dinar, the currency you've maybe heard whispers about for years, has just been officially revalued to a staggering $3.83 for a single dinar. Let that number sink in for a moment. $3.83. This isn't a typo, it's not a rumor from a shadowy forum, and it's certainly not a hopeful projection. This is the breaking news flashing across financial terminals from Wall Street to the City of London, a seismic shockwave emanating from the Central Bank of Iraq itself that is fundamentally rewriting the global economic landscape in real time. For decades, the dinar was the subject of intense speculation, often discussed in hushed, almost mythical terms by a dedicated community of investors who believed in its potential, who saw a future where this currency, burdened by decades of conflict and instability, would finally take its rightful place on the world stage. And today, right now, that future has arrived with a force and a velocity that has left even the most seasoned economists and Forex traders utterly breathless. This is the single most significant currency revaluation event in modern history, dwarfing any other monetary shift we have witnessed in the last 50 years, and its implications are so profound, so far-reaching, that they touch every single person on this planet, whether you hold a single dinar note or not, because when a currency moves like this, it doesn't just create new millionaires. It redraws the map of global economic power. The old paradigm, where the US dollar was the undisputed king, is now facing a legitimate, powerful, and unexpected challenger from the heart of the Middle East. So how did we get here? How did this happen seemingly overnight? The calculation behind this new, earth-shattering rate of $3.83 isn't some random number pulled from thin air. It is the culmination of a meticulous, multi-year strategy orchestrated by the Central Bank of Iraq in close coordination with the International Monetary Fund and key global economic powers. It is a number rooted in a radical reassessment of Iraq's true, tangible national wealth, a figure that finally accounts for what has always been the nation's undeniable ace in the hole: its vast, almost incomprehensible reserves of oil and natural gas. For years, the dinar's value was artificially suppressed, disconnected from this immense underlying asset base due to political turmoil and security concerns. But with a new era of relative stability and a series of strategic international agreements, that disconnect has been violently corrected. The $3.83 rate is a direct reflection of Iraq's proven oil reserves, its burgeoning gas sector, and a future GDP projection that places it squarely among the world's top 20 economies within the next few years. This is the market finally and decisively acknowledging a simple, powerful truth. The nation of Iraq is fundamentally, structurally, and economically wealthier than the vast majority of countries on Earth, and its currency is now being priced to reflect that undeniable reality. The global banking system is currently in a state of controlled pandemonium as treasury departments at every major institution scramble to adjust their systems, recalibrate their risk models, and figure out how to handle the tidal wave of transactions that are already flooding the Forex markets as we speak. The announcement itself was deliberately crafted to be a clean, decisive break from the past, a move designed to instill immediate confidence and prevent the kind of speculative chaos that could have derailed this historic moment. For the dinar investor who held on through years of uncertainty, for the Forex trader who saw the patterns forming in the charts, this is not just payday. It is vindication on a scale that is almost impossible to put into words. Their patience, their belief in the fundamental data, has been rewarded in a way that will be studied in economic textbooks for generations to come. But this is only the very beginning of the story, because understanding how we got to this number is one thing. Understanding what happens next and what it means for you is an entirely different and even more critical conversation. So what does this monumental shift, this $3.83 IQD reality, actually mean for you, for the global economy, and for the future of your financial security? Let's pull back the curtain and look at the immediate, tangible consequences that are unfolding right now. If you are a dinar holder, your world has just been irrevocably changed. Those stacks of notes that you safeguarded, that some may have even questioned you for holding, have just transformed into a powerful, liquid asset of immense value. The process of exchanging them is now the single most important financial action you will take, and it is crucial that you navigate this process with extreme care and precision. The initial, frantic surge you are seeing on the news is the interbank rate, the rate at which massive financial institutions trade with each other. For the individual investor, the rate you will receive at a bank or a licensed currency exchange will be slightly different. It will be the consumer rate, which typically has a small margin built in for the institution. Do not be alarmed by this. It is standard practice across all foreign currency exchanges. Your first and most critical step is to avoid panic and to avoid rushing to the first location you see. The legitimacy of this revaluation is absolute, which means your dinar holdings are now and forever recognized at this new value. You have time to be strategic. Contact your primary bank first. Speak directly to the branch manager or the head of their treasury services. Inquire about their specific procedures for exchanging Iraqi dinar and confirm the exact rate they are offering. It is highly advisable to also contact several other major international banks and licensed, reputable Forex dealers to compare their buy rates and their processes. Do not carry large, unsecured sums of currency. Schedule appointments, and when you do go to complete your exchange, ensure you have all your original purchase receipts and documentation, along with valid identification, to ensure a smooth and compliant transaction under international anti-money laundering laws. This documentation will prove invaluable in verifying the legitimacy of your holdings and streamlining the process. For Forex traders, the markets are experiencing volatility unlike anything seen since the advent of the euro, and this is creating both unprecedented opportunities and significant risk. The initial, explosive upward spike will be followed by periods of consolidation and correction as the market works to find its true equilibrium. This is not a simple one-and-done event. It is a new, dynamic asset class being born in real time. But the impact of this revaluation extends far beyond individual investors and traders. This is a geopolitical earthquake. The United States Treasury and the Federal Reserve are now in a position where they must carefully manage the value of the US dollar in relation to this new, powerful currency. A stronger dinar means Iraq can now purchase American goods, technology, and infrastructure with dramatically increased purchasing power, which is a massive boost for US exporters and corporations. Conversely, it also means that the petrodollar system, the decades-old agreement that oil is traded in US dollars, is facing its most serious challenge yet. Iraq, along with other oil-producing nations in the region, may now be emboldened to demand payment for its oil in a basket of currencies or even in its own, now much stronger, dinar. This would fundamentally alter the flow of global capital and could lead to a weakening of the US dollar's dominance as the world's primary reserve currency. The economic gravity is shifting from west to east, and nations across Europe and Asia are recalculating their entire trade and diplomatic relationships with Iraq and the broader Middle East. The influx of colossal wealth into Iraq will fuel a historic reconstruction boom, creating demand for everything from construction and engineering to telecommunications and consumer goods, offering a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for businesses and contractors worldwide. The global balance of power is not just tilting. It is being recalibrated before our very eyes, and the financial fortunes of millions of people are being rewritten in the process. Now, with all this seismic change happening, the billion-dollar question on everyone's mind is a simple one. Will this new, incredible rate of $3.83 hold? Will it rise even further, or is a major correction imminent? The truth is, the momentum behind this revaluation is not just strong. It is being systematically reinforced by a series of powerful, structural factors that suggest this is not a fleeting spike but the establishment of a new, permanent floor for the Iraqi dinar. The Central Bank of Iraq has not undertaken this historic move lightly. They have built a formidable fortress of economic policy to defend this new valuation. They have been accumulating substantial foreign currency reserves for years precisely for this moment, creating a massive war chest that allows them to intervene directly in the Forex markets to stabilize the dinar's price, buying back any excess currency to maintain its strength and crush any speculative short-selling attack. Furthermore, the government has passed a series of binding financial laws that legally tether the dinar's value to the nation's oil and gas revenue, creating a direct, transparent, and incredibly robust backing mechanism. This isn't a fiat currency in the traditional sense anymore. It is effectively a resource-backed currency, not unlike the gold standard of old, but instead of gold, it's backed by the most demanded commodity on the planet: oil. This underlying asset value provides a rock-solid foundation that makes a catastrophic collapse back to pre-revaluation levels virtually impossible. However, this does not mean the journey will be a perfectly straight line upwards. It is entirely probable, and in fact healthy, for the currency to experience pullbacks and periods of consolidation. After such a monumental, vertical rise, profit-taking is inevitable. Some early investors will cash out, creating temporary selling pressure, and this will cause the rate to dip from its initial highs. Do not misinterpret these natural, market-driven corrections as a sign of failure. They are a necessary part of establishing a stable long-term trend. Think of it as the market catching its breath. The long-term trajectory, however, is overwhelmingly bullish. As Iraq begins its multi-trillion-dollar national reconstruction project, as it pays down its sovereign debt, and as it attracts massive foreign direct investment into its oil, gas, agriculture, and tourism sectors, the demand for the Iraqi dinar will only intensify. Global corporations wanting to do business in Iraq will need to acquire dinars, creating constant organic demand. This virtuous cycle of economic growth, stability, and increasing global integration will naturally push the currency's value higher over the coming years. Some analysts are already projecting that once the initial volatility settles, we could see the IQD gradually appreciate towards the $4, $5, or even $6 mark within the next decade as the full force of Iraq's economic potential is unlocked. This momentum is already spreading like wildfire across global markets, influencing other currencies and asset classes. We are seeing a ripple effect strengthening other Middle Eastern and emerging market currencies as investors rush to find the next Iraq. Commodity prices are fluctuating in response to this new purchasing power, and global stock markets are seeing significant movements in sectors like energy, engineering, and construction. This is the dawn of a new financial era, an era where the global economy is no longer a single-engine plane but a multi-engine rocket, with new powers rising to take their place alongside traditional economic giants. The revaluation of the Iraqi dinar is the spark that has ignited this new chapter, a chapter that you are now witnessing live. The information you have received in this video is the foundational truth you need to navigate this new world. It is the knowledge that separates those who will be swept along by the current from those who will skillfully navigate the waters to reach their destination. You now possess the key understanding of how this happened, what it means for you personally, and where this is all ultimately headed. The door to a new financial future is now open. What you choose to do with this information and how you choose to act upon it is a decision that will define your financial life for decades to come. Do not let this moment pass you by. The world of finance has just changed forever, and this is your moment to be a part of that history. You now have the knowledge, but knowledge without action is just a memory. Your journey starts right now. Go and secure your financial future. Do it today.